what is this place called? It's called Pretty Place. And isn't it beautiful? Look around. Wow.
Let's go look at this place.
Wow, you guys, look. That's amazing.
It's incredible, Amy. Wow, this is called Pretty Place?
Yeah.
You guys, I think I'm gonna go exploring a little bit more. So I'll see you in just a few minutes.
Alright, don't go too far.
I won't.
Sarah, I could just stay here all day and just look at the beauty. I think we should go find Jacob, though. He seems a little sad today, don't you think? Yep.
I have no idea how I'm supposed to tell Amy and Sarah about my leaving. Hey, Amy.
Oh, there you are. What's the matter?
Well,
Jacob, what's wrong?
oh, Amy, I got something to tell you and Sarah both, but I don't know how to tell you.
Well, you can tell us anything. That's why we're best friends.
Well, I know, but... Oh,
Jake, it's all right. You can tell us anything.
well, all right. My dad, well, you know he's in the army, right?
Yeah?
Well,
Yeah? Come on, Jake, it's all right.
well, Amy, I have to leave.
Leave? What do you mean?
I have to go with my dad who's being stationed because you remember he's in the army?
Yeah? Oh, you mean like you're being stationed in a different place?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, where?
Well, we have to go to South America
For how long?
for almost 2 years.
Oh, Jake.
Yeah, now you understand?
Yeah, I sure do. Wow. Jake, we need to tell Sarah.
Yeah, I know.
Sarah! Sarah, come here a second, please.
What's going on? Are you okay?
Well, Sarah, I was just telling Amy that my dad, well, you know how he's in the army?
Yes.
Well, he was stationed someplace far away in South America.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I have to go with him.
For how long?
Well, at least 2 years, but we don't know for sure.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of blue today.
Oh, Jacob, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say.
I know. I don't know what to say either.
I do know that we are going to miss you.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you guys too. You're my best friends.
Yeah. Since we're already up here, I think we should all go and sit and admire the goodness of God.
I agree, Sarah.
That's a great idea. Let's go. Hey, you guys, see this plaque right here? It talks all about us having faith in Jesus, that God has so much more for us than what we could ever possibly imagine. I think that's going to happen with you, Jake. So many exciting things that you don't even know about, and they're going to be so exciting for you.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Amy. God, I need to learn more about having faith. I don't want to be nervous about what we're doing. So I choose to have faith.
Father, my heart hurts. I'm just so sad about Jacob. But you tell us to have faith. And so I will have faith that you will be with him and you will bring him back to us. Thank you, Father, for our friendship and for all that you have for him. We love you.
You know, there's a story in the Bible about Daniel and his friends and how they had to move to a totally different country. Just like you, Jake. I think we should hear the story.
Yeah.
God warned his people that unless they turned back to him, he would allow the Babylonians to defeat them and take them away as slaves. Among those living in Jerusalem was a young man called Daniel. They ignored God's warnings, and during King Jehoiakim's reign, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to Jerusalem and besieged it. The Babylonians laid siege to the city of Jerusalem with Daniel trapped inside the city. The Lord allowed the Babylonians to take the city. The victorious army took sacred objects from the temple of God to take back to Babylon. The Babylonians then took away all the top leaders and the most able people, leaving only the poorest behind. Among those taken to Babylon was Daniel. Daniel and the Israelite prisoners were marched back to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar ordered Ashpenaz, his chief of staff, to select from the prisoners the very best of the young men from royal and noble families. They had to be strong, healthy, good-looking, and clever. Among those Ashpenaz chose were Daniel and 3 of his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The 4 were given Babylonian names. Daniel was called Belshazzar, Hananiah was called Shadrach, Mishael was called Meshach, Azariah was called Abednego. These 4 young Jewish men were trained for 3 years in the language and literature of Babylon. They would be given food and wine from the king's own kitchen. Daniel knew that the meat being offered was not prepared as God had set out in the laws of Moses. He did not want to become drunk either. Daniel asked the chief of staff for permission not to eat these unacceptable foods. The chief of staff refused. "The king has ordered that you eat this food and wine. If you become pale and thin, the king will have me beheaded." Daniel did not give in. He spoke with the attendant. "Test us for 10 days on a diet of vegetables and water, then compare us to the others eating the king's food." So for 10 days, Daniel and his 3 friends were fed vegetables and water, while the others ate the king's food and drank wine. At the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his 3 friends looked healthier and better nourished than the rest, so they were allowed to continue on their diet. God gave these 4 young men an unusual aptitude for understanding every aspect of literature and wisdom. At the end of their training, they were presented to King Nebuchadnezzar. No one impressed the king as much as Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they entered the royal service. The king found them 10 times more capable than any of his wise men.
Boys and girls, this is Amy. Did you know I have my own coloring book? Yes, and we get to give it to you for free. All you have to do is go to AmyTVshow.com and you can get a downloadable printed version of my book. Run over to my website and you can pick up your own free coloring book. Yay!
Daniel had to move just like me.
Yes, and God still used him mightily.
I just have a lot of fear around leaving, you know what I mean?
Well, sure, Jacob. I think we'd all feel the same way.
Well, I guess I'm concerned that I might not have good friends like you there.
But you know what? You'll find more people to have friendships with, Jake. I mean, you were so bold when you came and sat next to me. Remember at the park?
Yeah?
Well, you just have to do the same thing there.
But what if I don't know the language? I mean, there's so many different reasons to be concerned, Amy.
But Jake, God tells us that we have to have confidence in Him. And I think that's where, when we have faith, we grow stronger in our confidence. What do you think, Sarah?
Just like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
You're so right, Sarah. Mom, can you please tell us the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, please?
the Babylonians invaded Israel, they took many Jews as captives back to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar promoted 3 captives to be officials in Babylon and gave them new Babylonian names: Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 27 meters high and 2.7 meters, 9 feet wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in Babylon. All the rulers and officials were summoned to attend the dedication of the image. A herald loudly proclaimed, "Everybody is commanded, as soon as you hear musical instruments, trumpets, obeds, lyres, zithers, and harps, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Anyone who does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace." As soon as the music played, everyone bowed down to the golden image. Everyone, that is, except the Jews, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. They believed they should worship God and Him only. The Babylonian astrologers reported to Nebuchadnezzar that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had not bowed down before the image of gold, nor did they worship his gods. At that, the king flew into a rage and ordered the 3 men to be brought before him. He gave them one more chance to bow down when the music played, or they would be thrown in the furnace. "Do you think there is any God who can save you?" he shouted. The 3 men bravely replied, "Your Majesty, if the God whom we serve is able to save us from the blazing furnace and from your power, then he will. But even if he doesn't, we will not worship your God, and we will not bow down to the gold statue." Nebuchadnezzar lost his temper, and his face turned red with anger. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. The strongest men in his army tied the 3 Jews up and threw them, fully clothed, into the roaring furnace. Suddenly, Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement. "Didn't we tie the 3 men up and throw them into the blazing furnace?" They answered, "Yes, we did. We did, Your Majesty." "Then why do we see 4 men walking around in that fire?" he asked. "They are not even tied up, and they show no sign of being hurt. And the 4th one looks like an angel or the Son of God." So Nebuchadnezzar went up to the door of the blazing furnace and called out, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the supreme God, come out!" And they came out at once. All the princes and governors and other officials gathered to look at the 3 men who had not been harmed by the fire. Their hair was not singed, their clothes were not burned, and there was no smell of smoke on them. The king said, "Praise the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel, and he rescued these men who served and trusted him. They disobeyed my orders and risked their own lives rather than bow down and worship any god except their own." The king continued, "I command that if anyone speaks disrespectfully of the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, his house is to be made a pile of ruins. There is no other God who can rescue like this." Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
See how God can use you?
Yeah, I do, actually.
You get to have an opportunity most people never get to have in their lifetime. Not only do you have an exciting opportunity to go away in a different country, just like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you get to trust Jesus more than you ever have before.
Oh, I get it, Amy. Well, even so, I'm still gonna miss you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you too, but we can always do Zoom calls.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Amy, Sarah, thank you guys for making me feel a whole lot better about this.
You're welcome. What are friends for?
Yeah, we love you, Jacob.
We do. You will always be missed, and we'll make sure that we keep in touch with you, okay?
All right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Group hug. Did you know that Fred W. Symes Chapel is also known as Pretty Place because of its amazing views? It's one of the many buildings that make up the YMCA Camp Greenville. It was given by Mr. Symes as a spiritual center for the enjoyment of the children who camp there every summer. The current chapel was built in 1941 and has been there since 1912, and it covers 1,400 acres.
is perched on the edge of a stone mountain nearly 3,000 feet above sea level. Wow, and it has heavenly views. That is amazing.
Amy's right. I remember meeting her and having dance parties and being superheroes together. God, I trust you. I'm gonna have faith. No matter what.
Boys and girls, I hope you learned as much as I did about faith. And even though we're gonna miss Jacob, he will always be right here in our hearts. So until next time, fetch the goodness. Bye. Mwah.